Hello, everybody. It's Jason Justin. Today we are joined by Scott Bateman. Scott, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How are you guys doing?
Doing
Doing good,
well.
man. I watched most of your movie today, and I got to say,
Oh,
the visuals on it were incredible.
oh, thank you, thank you.
Yeah. So, what got you into wanting to make films? Like, where did the genesis for the love of film come to you?
Oh, it's just of course, I always love film, but it's funny because about 10, 15 years ago, I was kind of getting tired of mainstream movies. It always seemed to be the same sorts of stories and things like that, and I just wanted to see if there were other kinds of movies one could make. And so, yes, I got into making movies just to see what I could do that was a little different and something that I would want to watch. That was not the same thing as what's down at the multiplex and stuff like that.
That's awesome. So I see you're also an animator. Like, how did you get involved with that? That seems like kind of a hard industry to crack into. What kind of drew you towards that?
From a young age, I was always drawing cartoons,
Mm.
and I was like a cartoonist in my college paper and stuff like that. And when and several years ago, I was living in Portland, and there was a lot of independent animation going on there. And I got a chance to learn how to do animation the real old traditional way, where you draw hundreds of drawings on separate sheets of paper, and you got the animation stand, which is like as big as a room, and you point the camera down at it and do one at a time. And then 3 weeks later, you get the film back, and it's all overexposed. So that's how I learned to do animation. And then when around the turn of this century, animation became a lot easier with Flash and other software, and I just gravitated right to that and started doing stuff, online for websites and things like that. And it was just a lot of fun. And I kind of did my own project where I did a little like 30-second animated Flash animation film a day for a year,
That's
which
fun.
was a lot of fun also. It got me a lot of attention at the time, which was great.
So speaking of your 5,000 Space Aliens, I have to assume that animator background helping produce this film, like, and direct it, that has to have a lean heavy into it because I've seen at least the trailer of it, and there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of seems like animation. Like, I assume a lot of your history kind of goes back into this movie, right? I would assume.
Yeah, there's a lot of yeah. I mean, my first couple of features were mostly live action with like little bits of animation here and there, because I was always wanting to throw in a little bit of, that's my experience. But for this film, I was at a point where I really had no money, but I wanted to make a film really bad. And so I just figured out, well, maybe I can make a feature length animated film by myself, sitting at home on my laptop. And so I just started working on footage like this. There's these little 1 second animated clips. A lot of them are based on found footage or found material from the internet. A lot of old photographs from like bizarre places, like a Venezuelan photo studio from the 1950s that I found on Flickr archive, the Flickr
That's awesome.
commons,
Yeah, that's awesome.
but also a lot of found footage where I would just grab like a second of it or so and divide that into 12 frames and do things to each frame, so it looks kind of rotoscoped. And so a lot of this found footage was a lot of it's from archive.org, the Prelinger archives,
Yeah. Yeah.
where it's so it's like old home movies from like going back as far as like the 1920s, and I was like blown away that there were home movies in the
Yeah.
1920s. Who
Yeah.
knew that? But the old home movies, public domain stuff, that's really stuff I love to go look for online, and it's really fun to work with that material and find that little 1 second footage it has like a gesture or something or a movement or something that you really like, and then turning that into animation kind of in the same way that Richard Linklater made Waking Life, kind of that rotoscope, but using like Photoshop type software and stuff to turn photographs into art.
So, okay, you kind of answered this, but I kind of want you to go in more detail because I'm so interested in this whole thing. I help edit some of our stuff here on the Three Geeks. Like the idea of doing a 1 second thing and like kind of animate, like how hard was that? Like how it feels like it'd be hard.
It's once I got like a system or a routine kind of down with it, it was just a really fun project to do. I just you spend a lot of time looking for footage that you want to use, and then I think that's the hardest part actually. Then once I have footage I want to use, I just kind of go into it with no plan. To take that 1 second and say, well, what would look good here? What would be something fun to do with this? And it might look like Terry Gilliam from Monty Python. It might look like a collage of like a moving like art collage, or it might look like Andy Warhol silkscreen. It just depends on what the footage. It's just fun to do whatever you want to with the footage. And of course, not all of it works. I probably made over 10,000 to get 5,000 good seconds.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of bad stuff that will never see the light of day. It's just fun. It's just fun for me. But I think other people might find it crazy making. But that's just me.
So you made the short film 600 Space Aliens. What made you decide to make it more expanded and into a feature?
Well, 600 Space Aliens was kind of the test of the concept, proof of concept. I had this idea that this rhythm, this 1 second animated shot rhythm could work. And so the 600 Space Aliens is a 10-minute version of that. And I was very pleased with how it came out. It got into some film festivals. And so that gave me the confidence, perhaps misplaced, but to go ahead and try to do a feature-length version, because I really wanted to see a movie like this where it's not narrative. I like films sometimes. I mean, sometimes you want to see a good story, but sometimes you also just want to sit back and look at something and have it kind of wash over you. And
it's like Wizard of Oz and Pink Floyd, just like
just but also like Koyaanisqatsi and things like that, where it's just like a visual thing, but with music that you just kind of like you just kind of relax and let it go over you. Or if you're in a state where it's legal, you can be couch locked and enjoy it with friends that way.
Have you ever thought about doing music videos?
I've done a few actually, not for a few years, but back around 2010, I did a few music videos. I did one for the indie band Low, the one that based out of Duluth. I did one for Thao. I don't know how you say her name, Thao Nguyen and the Get Down. Those are a lot of fun to do, but those were I just haven't had much demand for that lately. Would love to get back into it.
So your style really lends to that very well.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Speaking of music, how did you determine what music to kind of have in the background of your 1,000 stills? You know what I mean? You went not stills.
Well, that's well, first of all, I ended up doing the music myself. Nice. Because, like I said, did not have a lot of money to make this film, and I'm probably the best composer I can afford.
Fair. Totally fair.
But I knew kind of how I wanted the music to sound. I wanted this kind of with a one thing per second. I definitely wanted a constant beat, basically of 120 beats per minute. I would just kind of go with every time,
just really driving it.
Yeah. So as something happens in the music every second, every half second, really. But the visuals change on the beat, basically. which
Sure.
which I think really helps pull the viewer through the movie. It gives them a friend to be like, it's okay, you're just watching the movie, it's cool. And I just had an idea of what I wanted to sound like, because I like a lot of that old krautrock stuff, especially like Noi,
Sure.
and I like Stereolab, and I like Philip Glass. There's a lot of Philip Glass and Steve Reich in there also, but I also wanted like that big beat, big drum beat, like you would get like 90s electronica. That's also a lot of fun for me. So it's just this weird, unholy mix of music that I like, and I don't know that I could find a composer who would like all of that also and want to do it.
That's impressive, though. You get to pull all your different talents into making this film, and it's like a lot. I mean, it's you, like from the sound all the way to the visuals.
That's what I'm when I look back at making this film, I'm just surprised I was even able to do this by myself. The music took a long time to make. The animation took a longer time to make, and just having that confidence that people might like this was, I don't know where that came from, but luckily I can fool myself pretty well.
Yeah. If someone wanted to approach a project like this and kind of were in a similar circumstance to you, what do you think would be advice for them to have, or what was your biggest hurdle to do it?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I think, well, for me, it's just like, you get an idea of something you want to do, and you just start. I mean, the easiest part of making a movie is making the movie. The hard part is trying to get it out into the world. And so I think I believe that. And so when I approach making a movie, I'm not really like worried about how it's going to come together. I know it's going to come together somehow. And I think that's an important lesson for others, is just, patience, persistence, perseverance. And that's what gets you through.
So did you have a lot of feedback from maybe friends or like people you really trust? Because I know if it was me and I had a bunch of things that I was editing and I think it's good, but maybe Jason doesn't, right? And I value Jason's opinion. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's just Jason, though.
That's right.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But that with the point of editing, I started showing it to my wife and a few other people, and just to see. I mean, editing was maybe the quickest part of making the film. It would be easy to just very much like struggle over what every little 5,000 edits.
Yeah.
But what I basically ended up doing was assigning randomly and the animated bits to the pieces of music that are in the film.
That's fun.
And then from there, lining up pieces, bits of animation that go with things that happen in the music, like a cymbal crash or a drum roll or something, and then filling in the in between. And but also like keeping them in mind that having people in the footage react to what's coming, what has just come before, and what might be coming next. Having textures and colors and stuff echo through several shots in a row, and it ended up being a lot of fun to edit.
That's awesome. That's great. That's awesome.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. It's been
okay.
fun chatting about the projects, and I can't wait till people get to see this. I have a friend that does this podcast with us that I'm going to recommend this movie to, because I think he'll absolutely adore it.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'm glad you got to see most of it today. And can I just say real quick, it's out digitally November 21st. It's a lot. It sounds like a weird movie, because it is. It's bonkers, but it's a lot of fun. A lot of different animation styles. The music is booming. It's a strange movie, but I think it's a lot of fun to watch. I think it's like a roller coaster ride instead of like a typical narrative, and I think it's okay for a movie to do that. And
absolutely.
Please watch it.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to watch the same thing all the time. You gotta eventually, bring
Mix it up.
something new into the And I think you did a great job. And like I said,
thank you.
think my buddy Mike's gonna love it too. And I will make sure that he checks it out. And where digitally can you find it?
It's going to be in a huge number of places, actually. Apple TV, Amazon, YouTube Movies, Google Play, all those big ones where you can get you can buy a movie or get video on demand. And also available DVD on that day from Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Walmart, I think, Best Buy. So please, please get that also.
Is that a hard sales pitch to get DVDs created nowadays? Is that a hard thing to get hard copies of anything? Blu-ray, DVD, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Is that a hard thing?
It feels like it's hard because there are a lot of movies that have come out that have not come out on home video. But I wasn't part of this decision on coming out on DVD. The distributors were able to convince people somehow to do that. So I'm very pleased about that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll make sure I put the links below because I'm a huge physical media collector and I love physical media. So everybody check out the DVDs, check out the digital copy. The links will all be down below. Scott, where can everybody find you online?
The movies at 5000spacealiens.com. And I've got a personal website. There's not a lot of stuff there right now, but Batemanimation, all one word, Batemanimation.com.
Nice.
All right. Thank you so much, Scott. I look forward to talking
Jason.
to you in the
Justin.
future. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks,
Have a great day. Everybody follow us at 3 Geeks Podcast. We'll talk to you soon.
Great. Thank you so much.